Morning, everybody. Joseph Hennessy. Name of the channel is The Children. Trying to find star seeds, empaths, light workers, rainbow warriors, caring human beings are just tired of being beat down by the system. That all it does is beat us down and enslave us by a money system called the fiat dollar. So today I just need to get something off my chest about this whole twin flame ascension journey that I've been on. It's been really hard the last 3-4 years doing this. A lot of dark days. I mean, a lot of dark days. A lot of misunderstandings by people who don't get what I'm doing, especially my twin flame. So I hope that she eventually sees this message, because I need to share it with her and with the community, that the whole twin flame journey has nothing to do about that other person. It has to do with Joe Hennessy and the inner self, my inner child, and finding out who I truly am and becoming the person I am today that she helped create, even though she would probably say that she had nothing to do with it. But that's okay. Eventually, if she's going to the fifth dimension with me, she's gonna wake up, and if not, there's nothing I can do about that, because we live on a free will planet. So the story is, in 2017 or 16, I'm not sure when it was, I was watching the TV set and I was scrolling through the channels, and I seen a face that I recognized. So I went back to the channel. It was the news. I'm not sure what channel it was. I don't watch the news, and I recognized that her face from the gym that I work out at. And she had a charity taking soccer balls to kids in less fortunate countries than ours, out of the kindness of her heart. And right there, she touched my heart and soul. All I ever wanted to do was help the children, because the children are not free on this planet. Even in our own country, 800,000 go missing every year. Where are they going? So I approached her in the gym, or I told somebody I wanted to speak to her, and I finally did, and we had a great conversation. A lot of commonalities, a lot of the same interests. We had stories about the University of San Francisco. She went there. We had stories about the soccer coach. My uncle played soccer at the University of San Francisco. And she had a charity taking soccer balls, like I stated, to kids in less fortunate places. And I mentioned that I knew somebody who was doing the same thing. And come to find out, she's the one, or excuse me, Mike's the one who introduced her to that charity. Idiosyncrasy. So there was a lot of kind of commonalities there, and I never thought anything about it. And we always had a great relationship. And I never looked at her in any other way than her soul. I never looked at her outer beauty, because her inner beauty was far superior than her outer beauty, even though she is a beautiful lady on the outside as well. So I don't think about her or anything. I just doing my life. And 2018, 2019, 2020, the pandemic happens, and I have 2 years or a year and a half to walk around the streets thinking about what they're doing to us. And I did a lot of thinking, and I gained a lot of insight that the things that they were doing to us on this planet weren't for the greater good of humanity. So I ran into her in the gym when they opened the gym back up, and we had a great conversation. And just before that conversation ended, she asked me for a hug as I was walking away. And this is just my story. I'm sticking to it. She can deny it, but it's my truth. So she asked me for a hug, and she gave me a hug, and I didn't think about anything. It was anything substantial. Just she was asking me for a hug as a friend, not sexual. I never looked at her like that. So what happened was, 2 days later, they're making us wear the mask in the gym, and I refused to wear the mask. I've had enough. Taking a stand for the first time in my life for something, a medical device. I was wearing a t-shirt on my face. So I got arrested. I was yelling and screaming at the cops. I mean, I was yelling and screaming off the top of my lungs, telling them what I thought about them. And they didn't like that very much, so they arrested me. He stood me out in the rain, all sweaty, for an hour with handcuffs on before he put me in the police car, because he didn't like the way I was talking to him. But that's okay, because police don't work for the people. So I went to jail. I got released because of stupid ass charges. How can you arrest a man for refusing to wear a t-shirt on his face? So that's when my actual spiritual awakening happened, when she asked me for that hug. That was the activation point, because she's the catalyst. There's a runner and a chaser in the twin flame dynamic. I'm the chaser, she's the runner, and she's still running today, and I'll get to that. So I went down to Gym 19 for 6 months, and I did my thing down there. I love to dance. Small gym, nowhere to dance. Dance floor's too small. So I decided I'm going to go back to 24 after they had thrown me out 6 months earlier, and they let me back in, no problem. And for some reason, I got up one day and I started thinking about her, that special lady. And I hadn't thought about her once the whole time that I was down the street. Why? Because I know why. Because I was so busy pontificating to everybody at that point, and I was the only one awake. She would have thought that I was just absolutely bonkers, which they did anyway, because I was telling them things that people didn't want to hear, like about the quote-unquote COVID cure that was so wonderful. Gentleman was yelling and screaming at me in the gym when I was telling him what that stuff really did. So what happened was, I seen her in the gym. I was looking for her, and I walked up to her and I put out my hand. I had 2 clear quartz crystals in my hands, which I was carrying in my pocket. I got 2 in my pocket now. And she took them out of my hand and she said, "Where'd you get those? Arkansas?" And I thought that was kind of suspicious. But the strange thing was when I came back into the gym for the first time, she had her back to me. And she had never done that before. And she wouldn't even turn around and look at me. And I was dancing 3 feet away from her, trying to get her attention, because she always loved my vibe, dancing, so I couldn't figure out what happened. But I did figure out what happened, because evidently when she found out that I got arrested and I was yelling and screaming and I was doing all the bickering that I was doing at the police officers, it didn't go too well with all the people in the gym. And I understand that. So I came across like I was crazy, but I knew what I was doing. It was just who I was at the time. So when I presented her with those 2 crystals, I just looked at her and I said, "So you're going to keep running?" And I turned around and I walked away. And I said, "Why did you say that?" And I didn't understand why. But I said it. So I thought nothing about the encounter. I thought everything was okay, but evidently it wasn't. So I went home and I wrote a love letter to her. And in between that time, I acquired a bag of lavender potpourri, and I had some more clear quartz crystals that I was going to give to her. So the next time I saw her, so I wrote her a letter, and I have to tell you, the last thing I said in the letter was, "When you're done running, I'll still be standing there." And there was that runner chaser thing where I called her a runner the first time, and I wrote runner in the letter. And the strange thing, so when I approached her the second time, I put out my hands with the crystals. She wouldn't take them. She said she couldn't take them. So I put those in my pocket. I gave her the letter. She said she didn't want it. I said, throw it away. So she took it out of my hand. In the bag of potpourri, I just dropped it on the weights that she was working out on. And I turned around and I walked away. No, I didn't. I take that back. I had to state the last thing I said to her was, so you're going to keep running. Then I turned around and I walked away. And I said it again. So you're going to keep running. And when I was walking away, I said, Joe, why did you say that? Because I had no clue at the time what the runner and the chaser dynamic of the twin flame journey was. I found that out 3-4 weeks later. So I find out things after the fact, and when I presented her with those crystals, she said, where'd you get those? Arkansas? And I laughed on the inside because I told her God told me to give them to her. Then I came to find out 8 to 9 months later that those crystals did come from Arkansas. So she knew where they came from, but I didn't. But I knew to give them to her. Just a little sign and synchronicity. This is just my story, and I'm sticking to it. So what happened was, I think she was crying in the gym the second time. I wasn't sure, but I didn't even think anything about it. I just went back to doing what I was doing, and I went home. So I got called into the gym manager's office on Monday. Oh no, I went in there first because I was bitching and moaning there was not enough weights in the gym. I was telling them corporate America sucks. So I went back out and started working out, and he sent the trainer out to call me back in to his office. And I don't know why he didn't say this to me the first time. He goes, there was an issue in the gym on Friday. And I didn't know what he was talking about because I had actually seen her on Saturday. And even if I seen her on Friday, I never thought there was any issue. So he told me that my gym membership had been revoked for 30 days. But he never bothered to tell me that there was a restraining order against me. A restraining order. And you know why the restraining order was put against me? Because people in the gym, you have a situation where a cop asks somebody, a crime happens or something happens, and asks 10 people what happened, and you get 10 different stories. So what happened was, the second time when I was walking away from her, some guy in the gym said that I shouted, "I'm gonna hunt you down," twice. Really? I hold this woman in high regard. She's the other half of my soul. She's my twin flame. I'm gonna hunt you down? That's not a very good way to get a lady to like you. Even if my other methods were a little odd or strange, there was no hostility. I presented her with some crystals, Lumerian crystals, which represent unconditional love. So he didn't bother to tell me that there was a restraining order, right? So I go home. So the next weekend, I decide I'm going to go down to the gym and I'm going to wait for her outside because I know what time she works out at, without knowing that there's a restraining order. So I was talking to a guy outside, and he must have went in and told her that I was sitting outside waiting for her. So guess what? So now I don't know this part either. There's an enhanced stalking charge against me for 4 crystals, a love ladder, and a bag of potpourri, and some side talk that other people were saying about me. Another friend of hers, I had an encounter with him, and I said to him, and I was just saying it in a loving, kind, joking way, is she still hiding from me? And he told somebody that I was crazy. He actually told a police officer on the police report when I was arrested for the enhanced stalking charge that I was the crazy guy in the gym, little gay guy. I wonder if he has a doctor's degree in psychiatry to to make an assessment of my mental health to say that I'm crazy. Why? Because I dance in the gym and I'm more in touch with my feminine side than he is. And he's probably jealous that he can't dance like me. Gotcha, bro. I got nothing but unconditional love for all those people that said those things about me, because you know what? It's just all part of the plan. All part of the plan. So let me reiterate, I didn't even know there was a restraining order or an enhanced stalking charge against me, because if I knew what she was going to do, you think I would have approached her to go to jail? It cost myself all that money. She took my last bit of dignity away from me. A stalker? The district attorney called a friend of mine, and he hung up on the district attorney because he thought it was funny. Joe Hennessy, a stalker. That's not who I am. Never was, never will be. I was a yeller and a screamer. I don't do that anymore. It's all about unconditional love. And what she's done for me, she changed me forever. She was the catalyst for my transformation. I was hoping I was going to do the same for her, but evidently it didn't work out that way. Because I've run into her a few times in the last few weeks, and I saw her at the grocery store the other day. And evidently she's afraid of me because of what people said about me. And it rips my heart out through my ass. Through my ass. My heart out through my ass. That somebody would think that little of me. That I would stalk somebody or I would hurt a woman, let alone hurt any human being. It's not who I am anymore. So I wanted to get on here today and tell everybody this journey I've been on is not easy. But her doing what she did, she went up to the guy in the grocery store and told him that she had a restraining order against me in a crowded grocery store. What am I going to do in a crowded grocery store to somebody I think is just the most special person in the world? Make me feel so little without ever giving me a chance to even explain myself, to tell my side of the story. She let her friends change her perception of me. We had a great relationship up until she started listening to her so-called friends, who are not her friends. So what happened was on Father's Day, I'm walking across El Camino and I wave to a lady police officer. I go into Central Park, 10,000 people in there. Sit and talk to a guy I know, and I see that lady cop that I wave to coming towards me, and I say I'm going to jail. I don't know why, but I know I'm going to jail. I know it has something to do with her. I know it did. So they detained me and humiliated me because I showed unconditional love to somebody who, if she would have just told me to go fuck myself, I would have turned around and walked away. But it wasn't to be, so I accept the consequences. So I ended up getting arrested on Father's Day in Central Park. Talk about humiliating. Nothing but kids and their families in that park. And I'm going to jail for unconditional love. All a misunderstanding because somebody didn't say, Joe, what are you doing? Because I thought she was on the same page as me. But she wasn't. And she's still not. So at this point, I'm just going to keep doing what I need to do my mission. If she ever decides to talk to me or she sees this, you change me. I'm grateful. I'm humbled. I wouldn't change a damn thing. All the hurt and pain. It's made me a better person. Twin Flame, Ascension Journey. Not easy. I just had to get this off my chest. I'm never going to stop my mission. It's all about the children. Fixing Mother Gaia and going to the fifth dimension. I know where I'm going to live, where I'll be able to manifest everything my heart desires. And if she chooses not to be part of that, well, you know what? My higher power will send me another twin flame, because she's breaking her contract. She's the other half of my soul. This is my story, and I'm sticking to it. I love everybody. I'm here to show everybody what unconditional love is. If we can just change as a collective and manifest as a group, we can fix this problem. The evil people who run this planet, love, poverty, war, death, sickness, sick people, it's their drug. We're gonna fix it onto the fifth dimension. And to that lady, I am forever grateful to you, no matter what you think about me. Maybe someday you might sit down and have that conversation and really find out who I really am, because I know who you really are. I seen your inner beauty. All you seen was my ugliness. Too bad.